Hello guys, so today we are going to learn about the 5 phases of mitosis: interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase.
To start, we're going to be looking at interphase. This is not part of mitosis, and during this period, the cell is engaged in metabolic activity and is preparing itself for division. Cell grows, replicates its organelles in preparation for doubling, and also the DNA of the cell is duplicated during this phase, creating 2 copies of each strand of DNA, which we call a chromosome. So many things are happening in the cell at this time, so most of the cell's life is spent here.
Moving on, prophase is the first and the longest step in which the process of mitosis actually occurs. Centrioles now begin to move to the opposite ends of the cell. Then, paired chromosomes move to the opposite poles and form mitotic spindle fibers, which is made up of proteins called microtubule. In prophase, the DNA supercoils and the duplicated chromosomes condense, so they will become more compacted. The chromosomes are starting to be seen on the microscope.
Now, before the second stage of mitosis called metaphase, prometaphase occurs, and this is a period in which the centrioles begin moving to the opposite ends of the cell to form the mitotic spindle. Upon entering metaphase, spindle fibers align chromosomes at the equator of the cell, also known as the metaphase plate. The pairs of condensed chromosomes line up along the equator, and they can move easily without being tangled, especially because they are condensed.
The third stage of mitosis is anaphase. During anaphase, the pairs of chromosomes, also known as sister chromatids, are dragged to the opposite poles of the elongated cell. The chromatids separate and become individual chromosomes, being pulled apart. Therefore, duplicate copies of the cell's DNA are now on either side of the cell and are ready to divide completely. At this stage, the microtubule gets shorter, which begins to allow the cell to separate.
And finally, it is the last step of mitosis, telophase. In telophase, 2 chromosome sets arrive at the poles and the spindle fibers disappear. When the new nuclei are formed, the middle of the cell is pinched by the cell membrane, and the cell is gradually divided into 2 daughter cells. And that was the 5 phases of mitosis. Thank you!